All right, listeners, welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at Helldivers 2 and all the recent changes.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see how the game is evolving and, really how Arrowhead is responding to the community.
Right, and it all started with that 60-day promise they made.
Oh, yeah, big public commitment.
This patch pretty much marks the end of that 60-day period.
Shows they're serious about ongoing development, keeping things fresh and responding to what players are saying.
And they definitely weren't messing around. Remember at the beginning when they decided to nerf some of the weapons? Like, they decreased the power of some pretty popular choices.
Yeah, I think they were going for balance, but kind of backfired.
Yeah, they kind of took away our favorite toys.
That's always the tough part of game design, Finding that sweet spot between what the developers intended and what's actually fun for the players.
It's a delicate dance, isn't it?
It is.
But they really took a step back, listened to all the feedback, and, well, this patch is like a complete makeover for Helldivers 2.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
Weapons, armor, even how the enemies behave. It's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, they dug deep.
And that's what we're here to break down for you today.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the weapons, because those are the bread and butter of Helldivers 2.
For sure.
First up, a quality of life change that has me personally doing a victory dance. The Dominator is finally in the right weapon category.
Oh, thank goodness.
No more endlessly scrolling through menus trying to find it.
It's the little things.
That makes such a difference.
Yeah, smooth user interface is so important.
And then we have some big guns getting even bigger.
Yeah.
The autocannon and the recoilless rifle got a serious upgrade thanks to programmable ammo.
That's huge.
You can switch between different types of ammo depending on what you're facing.
Yeah, now you can really tailor your loadout for specific situations.
You could load your autocannon with flak rounds.
Oh, yeah, turn those bugs into bug soup.
Exactly. And for the recoilless rifle, well, they added a high explosive round.
Bigger booms. Always a good thing.
It's not just about raw power, though. It's about having to choose the right ammo for the right enemy.
Makes you think strategically.
Adds a whole new level of depth to the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of depth, remember how the throwing knives were kind of a fun but niche tactic? Well, get ready to embrace your inner ninja because they just got a major buff.
Yeah, they increased the number of throwing knives you can carry from 8 to 20.
150% increase. That's not just a little tweak, that's a game changer.
It is.
Finally, I can live out my stealthy assassin dreams. And it's not just individual weapons. They've also looked at the overall pacing of combat. One of the biggest changes is to the patrol spawning mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
You know how you'd finish a mission thinking you were safe, only to get swarmed by an endless wave of enemies?
It was brutal.
Not exactly a relaxing victory lap.
No.
Now the intensity ramps up as you get closer to the extraction point.
It makes more sense, both from a gameplay and a narrative perspective.
It's like they're giving us a chance to catch our breath, regroup before the final push.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, those tense moments near extraction, that's what Helldivers is all about.
Oh, for sure.
And speaking of tense moments, they also tackled those hulking behemoths we all love to hate.
Tanks.
Yeah, some strategic tweaks to their armor and weak spots.
Changes how you approach those battles entirely.
You can't just mindlessly unload everything you've got at the front anymore.
Flanking maneuvers, coordinated attacks. That's the key now.
Adds a layer of realism, too.
Okay, next up is a personal favorite, the Tesla Tower. Remember how it used to be kind of underwhelming?
Oh, yeah.
Well, hold on to your hats because they supercharged this bad boy.
They increased its rate of fire, reduced the cooldown.
It's a whole new beast.
Yeah, it's much more viable now.
I've been having a blast setting these up as choke points and watching those robots get fried to a crisp.
It's so satisfying.
And let's not forget the Hulk Bruiser. They initially nerfed its rocket launcher.
Oh, right.
Well, the community spoke and the developers listened. They reverted the changes.
The Hulk Bruiser has its explosive firepower back.
The power of player feedback.
It's great to see them being so receptive to what the players want.
Really shows they care about making the game the best it can be.
And speaking of player feedback, have you seen all the chatter about the drones?
Oh, yeah.
They've added a toggle function so you can recall your drone back to its backpack.
Oh, that's a good one.
Much more control over your drone.
Yeah, no more watching it waste ammo on some random target while a horde of bugs is coming right for you.
Exactly. And if you're a fan of those support weapon backpacks, get ready for some serious firepower.
Oh, yeah.
They reduced the cooldowns on most of the sentries so you can deploy them more often.
That's a big help.
Plus, they increased the ammo capacity for the machine gun and Gatling sentries.
So you can really lay down some suppressing fire.
And speaking of defensive options, The shield generator relay got a massive upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
It's much larger now, regenerates its health constantly, and there's no charge delay.
It's like a fortress.
It's amazing. It's no longer just a temporary speed bump. It's a real defensive option.
Very cool.
But it's not just our arsenal that got an overhaul. They also made some important changes to enemy behavior, like those annoying anti-tank mines.
Yeah, I hated those.
They used to trigger on anything.
Stray bug walks by, boom.
Exactly. So frustrating. Now they only trigger on larger enemies like tanks.
Much better.
Makes them actually useful. And they also did a deep dive on the automatons, you know, those pesky robots.
Yeah.
They used to have some really wonky targeting.
They'd shoot through walls.
Like they had X-ray vision.
It was ridiculous.
But they fixed that. Now they actually respect line of sight.
Smoke grenades finally work as intended.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Like they feel less like unfair adversaries and more like challenging opponents.
Right.
And they even tweaked some of the individual automaton units, like the Heavy Devastator.
What'd they do?
They added a slight pause between its bursts of fire.
Oh, that's good.
Gives you a chance to breathe, to retaliate.
Makes a big difference.
It's all about pacing.
Right. Absolutely.
Even the toughest enemies should have a vulnerability that a skilled player can exploit.
Exactly.
And speaking of vulnerabilities, did they fix that issue where the barrage tank wouldn't die even after you hit it with a 500-kilogram bomb?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's just wrong.
Talk about overkill.
Huh.
Well, don't worry, they fixed it.
Good.
It's those little details that really show they're paying attention.
They are. They're listening and they're responding.
And that's what makes this patch so exciting.
For sure. It really shows how much they're invested in, getting it right.
Yeah, and not just throwing out random changes, but really thinking about how those changes will affect different playstyles.
Right. Making sure it's balanced.
Speaking of balance, you mentioned they also tweaked enemy behavior.
Oh, yeah. They didn't just focus on our toys. They also made some adjustments to those frustrating enemies. Like those anti-tank mines, for example.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started.
I know, right?
So many times I've been sneaking up on a tank, perfectly positioned.
And boom.
Stray bug walks by and sets it off right under my feet.
It was the worst.
More annoying than actually dangerous.
Right. Well, good news, they tweaked them so they only go off when a bigger enemy steps on them.
Oh, thank goodness.
Like tanks or those big eliminate war dogs.
Now, that's a change I can get behind.
Yeah, no more friendly fire from your own mines.
Makes them actually useful.
Exactly.
And speaking of useful or not so useful, they also did a deep dive on the automatons.
Oh, those robots.
Yeah, remember how their targeting used to be all over the place?
It was like they were cheating.
Those Scout Striders. I swear they had X-ray vision.
Shooting through walls.
Like it was nothing.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Well, they've made some serious adjustments.
Much needed adjustments.
Now they actually have to, see you to shoot you.
They respect line of sight.
Which means smoke grenades actually work now.
Oh, thank goodness.
No more getting sniped through solid objects.
Much better.
It really changes how those battles play out.
Yeah, they're still tough. But at least it's a fair fight now.
That's all we asked, right?
Exactly.
A challenge, but a fair one.
Mm.
Speaking of fair challenges, what about those Heavy Devastators?
Oh, yeah, the rocket-happy ones?
They were relentless.
They did make a small tweak to them.
What'd they do?
They added a tiny pause between their bursts of fire.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it gives you a moment to breathe, to regroup, before the next barrage.
Make a big difference.
It does.
It's all about pacing. Right?
Absolutely.
Creating those moments of vulnerability, even for the toughest enemies.
Right. It's about strategy, not just brute force.
Exactly. And, did they fix that thing with the barrage tank?
What thing?
Where sometimes it wouldn't die even after you hit it with a 500-kilogram bomb.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so weird.
That's not right.
I know.
That's like the definition of overkill.
Right. Like, come on.
Huh.
But yeah, don't worry, they fixed it. It's funny how even those little details can really affect the feel of the game.
It's true.
It shows that they're paying attention.
To everything.
And that's what makes this patch so impressive.
Definitely.
It's not just about big, flashy changes. It's about polish.
Refinement.
Making sure everything works the way it should.
Yeah, and they're not done yet either.
Right. They've hinted at even more content and features coming down the line.
Oh, yeah, like expanding the progression system.
Giving players more to do, more to strive for.
Just keep things interesting.
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what they come up with next.
Me too. New rewards.
Yeah.
New challenges. Maybe even new enemy types to battle.
Ooh. Now that would be fun.
Right. I can already picture myself rocking some crazy new armor, wielding a weapon that shoots miniature black holes.
Whoa.
battling hordes of space penguins.
Space penguins.
Okay, maybe not space penguins, but you get the idea.
Huh? I do.
It's that sense of, anything can happen that makes Helldivers 2 so much fun.
It's true.
They somehow managed to balance that over-the-top action with a genuinely challenging experience.
And with this patch, it's just gotten even better.
Yeah, more polished, more balanced, more fun.
It's great to see.
It really is. So what does all this mean for our listeners out there?
It means now is the perfect time to jump back into Helldivers 2. Or if you haven't tried it yet, now's the time to enlist.
The galaxy needs you.
It does.
To defend it from those bug hordes.
Grab your friends, gear up, get ready for some mayhem.
Before you do that, we want to hear from you.
Yeah. What new strategies are you excited to try with all these changes?
Hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And maybe we'll feature your brilliant tactics in a future deep dive.
Until then, stay vigilant, divers, and may your shots always find their mark.
And remember, freedom costs $1.05.
See you next time for another deep dive.